All right. Welcome to the Scorched Earth podcast for Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. I'm your host, John. This is the politics section. And if you could, kindly hit the like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. Got something going on with my eye today. I don't know what that is. Part of getting old. Don't ever get old. So tonight, I went to the movies. And, yeah, you know, I've been to Vegas a lot. Way more than I should. Probably one step short of being an addict. Maybe. And I'm always fascinated by my friends that go, you know, you go to Vegas and you go see a movie. What's that all about? And I'm like, who can afford to gamble like 12 hours? I mean, you got to pick and choose your moments. You know, I used to come to this city. I came with Evil Rich. And we had about a 6-year run of literally being degenerate gamblers. And we would come up every other weekend. And for like a year, we played Baccarat. That's all we played. And then we lost at that so much, we go, you know, we got to get another game. Then we went to Blackjack. And then we lost at that so much, we decided we had to get another game. And then we gravitated towards craps. And boy, we used to shoot craps all weekend. And let me tell you how brutal that could be. I remember one time, him and I checked in on a Friday morning at the Plaza. And back then, you would always go to the Horseshoe. That was the place to gamble. That was the craps. Literally, forget Caesars, forget any other place. The Horseshoe was the place to shoot craps in the world. The biggest, forget Macau, anywhere else, it was the place. You'd go in there 4 a.m, there'd be 12, 14 tables just going, just humming. I remember we checked in on Friday morning, put our bags on the bed, and we ran over to the Horseshoe, because you can't walk. You know, it's a block away. You got to run. Got to get there, right? Get that Jones. And we gambled for 48 hours. Yeah, I'm sure we got a meal here and there. We probably went and saw a movie. We didn't come back to the room for 48 hours. We came back on Sunday morning. We had lost all our money. One of the things I used to do, and I advise this to anybody who goes to Vegas, gas up your car as soon as you get there. And we looked at each other, and I go, F it. Let's just go home. We picked up our bags. The beds had never been touched, and we went straight back to L.A. Yeah, there you go. Another story from the Wicked State. So when people say you shouldn't go to movies, you know, to me, it's an excellent thing to do. I mean, you know, you're paying $6, $8 for a movie or whatever you're paying, $10. Believe me, if you gambled for 2 hours and lost $10, you would consider yourself a winner, and you are a winner. Don't you ever change, you little winner. I don't know. So I went to seeing Becoming Led Zeppelin. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and but it is really only it's an authorized one. It's for the geeks. It's for the real hardcores. And look, you can really like their music, phenomenal music, maybe the best band ever. But if you're not really into the minutia, I really wouldn't advise it, especially when you got to pay IMAX prices, which is like $20 a ticket. But I enjoyed it. I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody else, but there we go. And I spent $20 for 2 hours, so that my loss rate is only $10 an hour. I'm a winner. Yeah, Mom, I'm a winner. All right, talking about winners. Let's talk about Kristi Noem. She is the head of Homeland Security. She's the former governor of South Dakota. Let's not forget she's a dog killer. Put her puppy down because didn't really understand what she wanted. Had to shoot it and put it in a rock quarry. There we go. That's the kind of people I want in government. The ones who are just maliciously and without any recompense killing animals that are in our home. little cuddly kitties, little cuddly dogs. They're killing him. Yeah, that says a lot about character to me, but I digress, right? So she was on CNN with Dana Bash, and Dana was asking her about Elon Musk's role, especially with concern to DHS, Homeland Security, that he was accessing their data, that they were working with FEMA. FEMA accumulates a lot of data about your house, about your income, everything, because you're applying for loans. When a disaster strikes, you need government aid. You get low interest loans. They actually give you aid. You basically have to give them your W-2 and all your financial information. DHS has access to that. Elon Musk has access to this. So Dana asked her, I don't even understand why these Trump people go on TV. I mean, it's like getting in front of a firing squad, and you don't have a bulletproof vest. So she asked her that, what is he doing there? And then Dana reminded Kristi that he was not elected. Elon was not elected. So Kristi comes back with her retort that Trump vetted him. That's all you need to do. Trump vetted him. We know what an incredibly hard worker he is. I mean, he was at the Super Bowl all weekend, but that's okay. And that Elon and his band of hooligans hadn't been authorized by Congress to see this data. All right. So Trump authorizes it, so it's legal. Okay, maybe in terms of the letter of the law, it's legal, but it's got a terrible look. But I digress. We move on. So Bash then asked, isn't it a little hypocritical? Well, she didn't say hypocritical. She says, isn't this an about face from what the Republicans were saying in 2016 when then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had State Department documents on a secure private server in her home? We all remember the lock her up chants, right? Those were the big things. Trump was the one leading the charge. We don't know what's going on with those documents, right? So Dana says, I remember a time when Republicans were very careful and worried about the government, especially unelected people, having access to personal data. Well, Kristi, ever the sharp cookie, dog killer, retorted, well, we just can't trust the government. Of course, Dana, God bless her, she comes back strong, going to the hoop, Shaq style, says, you are the government now. Wait for the crickets. Wait for the crickets. Yeah, they come. All right. Sometimes you just can't get those papers to move that well. God dang, how'd that get worse? All right. We got some odd tidbits from the news. Trump brought back plastic straws. Okay. I'm sure you've all seen the pictures of the little puffer fish or the turtle with literally 16 or 18 straws in every orifice and every part of their body. It's looked like an animal version of the bocce ball, just all kinds of stuff. What's that horror guy, Hellraiser, the guy with all the pins in his head? That's like what these animals look like with all these straws. So he says we're going to bring them back. Of course, this is incredibly environmentally destructive. I mean, at some point, do you think the Republicans are ever going to understand this is our planet? That, when you destroy all the rivers and you destroy all the farmland and you destroy the oceans, we're not going to be able to eat money. I mean, Christ's sakes. What the heck? They think they can destroy it all to the end and then recoup it. I'm telling you right now, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I think we've went past the point of no return with climate change. Yeah, people in this audience, we're probably going to make it out. But why do you think Trump wants Canada to be the 51st state? Why do you think he is after Greenland? Really, why is it? So he could build a new golf course? Well, okay, you might got me on that one. I'll tell you what it is. because they realize the world is heating up. It is burning. It's getting hotter and hotter. I believe this summer, Phoenix had, 30 straight days with over 110 degree temperature. It might have been 90, but I want to just say I know it was 30. And they know that people in the southern United States in 20 or 30 years aren't going to be able to live there. We all literally head to the north. The McKenzie brothers from the 80s. Hey, hoser, head to the Great White North. Yeah. Boy, Doug and Bob, we're heading. That's where we're going. And the problem is the Republicans can't admit it because they've been denying all this climate change for 30 plus years. They've been telling us it's a lie. That's really, I think, the linchpin issue in American history where facts were no longer facts. When these scientists, 98%, said climate change is happening, it's going to destroy the world, basically. They used to call it global warming, which it was. I mean, we have this sphere, we have an ionosphere around it keeping in the heat. You just keep burning more fuel. It's, I'll tell you what, go into your kitchen, close the door. Well, most are open airs, but let's say you wall it off, right? And you go in there and cook every day. Do you think it's going to get hotter in there? Duh. I don't need to be Neil Tyson deGrasse. Okay? At the end of the day, if you have things in a contained area and there's nowhere for it to escape, the heat is going to burn up everything in there. And if you're in a kitchen and it is sealed, you're going to start messing with the paint. You're going to start messing with the metals. You're going to start messing with the floor because there's nowhere for the heat to go. It will literally eat through it. Why do you think there's nothing growing in the Saudi Arabian desert? Duh. The Sahara? Duh. Because heat wins. Jesus Christ. So that's why they're doing it. They're not going to tell you that. And I had a friend of the show, and she told me the other day, she goes, well, all these Canadians, they want to become the 51st state. Oh, they hate Canada. Yeah. All right. Until they find out they don't get health care. They think they're just going to come down here and just sashay into the healthcare system. Yeah. Right. Good luck with that. Yeah. Okay. And we'll see what Trump does when he comes on that. We also got another little tidbit in the news. I talked about yesterday about the flyover, the tens of millions of dollars that cost. Well, we also found out general estimates was for Trump's one day at the Super Bowl, it ran about $15 million. It's nice. They're doing that, but Doge won't allow funding for child's cancer research. Now, they've cut the funding drastically. Now, we don't have an exact number. Now, don't start crawling up my butt on this one because, Elon isn't telling us what percent is of it is being cut. But estimates are anywhere between 80 and 90%. Okay, that's pretty significant to the National Institute of Health, which gives out grants for cancer research. Now listen to this lovely quote from Charles Roberts, director of St. Jude's Cancer Center, which treats thousands of kids each year with cancer for free, said about the Trump slashing of the NIH budget. This will force cancer centers to cut back on research for new treatments, and therefore fewer kids will be saved every year. All right. It's all abstract until it comes to your kid or your niece or your nephew. Personally, I think it should be for everybody. You shouldn't just phase out, when you hit 13, hey man, you're on your own. You hit puberty and man, you better have a health plan, but I'm not going to, let's concentrate on what we're dealing with right now. And that's the kids whose cancer funding and research is getting cut. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's only thousands, right? And I keep waiting. When is Doge going to go into the military? When the biggest budget in our country, $1 trillion a year, when are they going to go in there and start cutting waste? Yeah, right. Other news, our favorite boy, Elon, doesn't he just look like somebody hit him with a car? I mean, his face is just weird, man. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's somebody hit him and then ran back over him, and he tried to get some plastic surgery, but sadly he went to the same place that Meg Ryan did, and that didn't turn out too well. And I love Meg Ryan. I loved her in the Super Bowl commercial, but so yesterday at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, it was the first time he faced questions from reporters since he arrived in Washington. You know, for a guy who's so transparent, it sure seems like he avoids the press. You know why? Because they ask real questions and they want real facts. Uh-oh, spoiler alert, I got none. So Musk immediately starts firing out that without evidence that some officials at USAID, whatever we're going to call it, were taking kickbacks. Just throw it against the wall. Let's just see what sticks, right? Hey, bro, this isn't X. You can't just put stuff out there and say it's a self-assuming fact. You actually need real facts. Give me a name. You know, that's what we always ask. You know, they always talk about, the BLM riots in Seattle and Minnesota. Where are these names? Where are these names? Hey, look, if these people really existed who assaulted cops, supposedly destroyed all this stuff, Fox News, Max Nation, News Nation, they'd be crawling in there to get that name, man. They would be all over it. You know why they don't have a name? Because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Sorry. I know January 6th did. Let's pardon them, though. I guess if you pardon everybody, it really didn't happen. It was just a little play date for the MAGA troop, right? Then Musk, he keeps walking out on the line. He says, we're trying to be as transparent as possible, so all our actions are maximally transparent. Not sure what that means. Maybe in South Africa, there's a different meaning of cloak and dagger is transparent. Maybe the CIA would approve this, but try not to laugh when you hear that statement. He then said he wouldn't disclose his personal finances to avoid any possible conflicts of interest. This comes very ironically after the USAID's Inspector General was fired by Trump last week after he issued a report critical of SpaceX and their terminals, which, wow, is the company Elon Musk owns. Oh, jackpot. Got to get rid of that guy. For the Republicans in the audience, I guess you're going to be happy today. The Gulf of Mexico was renamed Gulf of America on Google this week. All right, everything is good. Let the big tech oral sex part of this thing for the president begin, right? Also, in the final story, and I can't even believe we're talking this. Trump is still backing his Gaza thing where we're going to demo it, and it's like one of those hotels they blow up in Vegas and they just do a reconstruct. He thinks that's what we're going to do in Gaza, and somehow we're going to move the 2 million people into Egypt and Jordan. Unfortunately, they don't want it because it's going to cost them too much political unrest. And spoiler alert, we just saw what happened in Syria a couple months ago. In 2 weeks, they overthrew a government that had been there for 30 years. Oops. I got a funny feeling that, the king of Jordan, Abdullah, doesn't really want to see his government get overthrown. And I'm not even sure who the Egyptian government is. Yeah, exact government. Egyptian government. Isn't that an oxymoron? So Trump was in the White House yesterday, and Jordan's King Abdullah was there, and they are one of the biggest allies we have in the Middle East, along with Egypt. Jordan knocked down a lot of those Iranian missiles that they were shooting towards Israel last year. Egypt is basically the backstop they're the safeguard from behind for Israel. And let's call it what it really is. That's why they get billions of dollars in aid, right? They need those dollars to keep their economy going. Well, Trump then immediately said, well, if they don't take the the Palestinians, we're going to probably cut back on aid. And I watched King Jordan, and he looks like he's in a hostage video, man. He's like, well, we got to look at all the different options. And he's not saying no. Obviously, he's a politician. But, man, you could see him in the middle of his face go, F you. There is no way I'm putting 2 million Palestinians in my country. Yeah, right. It's not Jordan. It'll be Palestine. Maybe that is going to be the new Palestinian state, right? And finally, still hard for me to say, Mr. Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. I will call him Pig, not Pete. Pig Hegseth. He's bringing back the name Fort Bragg that was renamed to Fort Liberty under the Biden administration. I have a question for the Republicans. General Bragg was one of the generals in the Confederacy under President Jefferson Davis. They lost. They got smoked by the Union. Bragg was so bad that his subordinates went to President Davis to try to get him relieved of duty. Why do they got such a hard on to keep this guy's name on it? The guy was a loser, like Trump in 2020. Oh, man, I cannot wait for those congressional elections. I'm telling you, I was watching, they were talking about budget resolutions, and March 15th is when they're going to need the Democrats' help to fund the government. We're going to see what happens. It's going to be interesting. All right. I thank you all for listening. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave your comments down there. I really want to know what you have to say. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.